I was watching a video from Veritas 48 yesterday, which was kind of a response to a video by someone called Dan Brown, who I think's YouTube channel is called Pogobat. I say kind of a response because the Dan Brown Pogobat channel it's a kind of entertainment channel really. He's trying to do the YouTube celebrity thing, and I think he's quite successful at it as far as I can tell, quite good at it. But as far as I can tell, you don't really make responses to those kinds of channels. You just participate in a commentary way, really. But anyway, yeah, this video from Veritas. From what I gather, Pogobat, Dan Brown have been saying, I've been making a kind of call for a kind of ecumenical approach to religion. Let's all get along, doesn't matter about dogma. Let's just try and be believers and unbelievers together. It was that kind of a non-sectarian approach to tolerance in what Veritas rightly kind of denounced as a kind of Oprah Winfrey spirituality light kind of thing. But what Veritas was offering, I think, was I had a lot of problems with it actually. And what he was saying basically, he was picking up on that line in the Bible about where Jesus says, the only way to my Father is through me. I think he says something like that. It's this claim that the only route to salvation, if you're a Christian, is via the words of Christ, or via the words of God as relayed through the Bible. I guess kind of rehearsing that kind of C.S. Lewis thing about a liar, lunatic, or Lord. You have to take Jesus seriously, and condemning, and Veritas was kind of condemning the Dan Brown ecumenical approach because because it's contradictory, he says. He seems to think it's internally contradictory. You can't simultaneously hold a view which accepts different versions of the truth. If you accept the word of God as related in the Bible as truth, then you can't simultaneously say that and that there are a number of other truths and there are many paths to God and all that kind of thing. Well, I don't know. I think it was crap, but where he went on to, which I think really clarified his position to me, if it is indeed his position, is through some examples and some particular choices of words, particularly words like subjectivity and objectivity he was using, which I thought was really interesting actually. And he was basically saying that he was kind of saying that Dan Brown's religion was equivalent to preference. If you chose to be a Christian in that way, what you were basically saying is you're just expressing a personal preference. I prefer this brand of religiosity because it's it's nice and because I like it. But there's no greater value than that. It's just as I say, a preference. It's just like a favourite colour, or what kind of music you like. It was that kind of a status. And I think quite understandably Veritas was saying that's not a useful way to approach any kind of spirituality. No form of religion would accept that, I don't think. But what he offered as an alternative was revealing. He said the only alternative to that, and the right alternative in Veritas' view, I think, is a kind of absolutism, but what he referred to as objective. He says if you he said there's only two options. You either accept your religion as a kind of subjective preference, in which case it's you at the centre of your little world saying what you like and dislike, which might be one religion or another, or else religion is objective, and he used the word objective, in which case religion makes truth claims about the world. It is objectively true in some sense, and by definition other claims are false. So in that sense, if you are a Christian, then Islam is incorrect, or Hinduism is incorrect. It's that kind of a statement. A very interesting use of the word objective, and the example as they use was very revealing. He was talking about Coca-Cola. He said, there's a subjective reading on Coca-Cola, the kind of preference model of Coca-Cola, which basically would say, I like Coca-Cola. That would be a preference, or Coca-Cola is good. Coca-Cola tastes nice, and that would be equivalent to your Dan Brown, Oprah Winfrey version of religion. It's just what you prefer. Religion is Christianity is good. Your Coca-Cola is good. And then there's this, what he contrasted with that is the opposite, which I guess he identifies with, which is the objective claims of religion exemplified, or uses the parallel of which would be Coca-Cola contains carbonated water. Coca-Cola contains carbonated water. That's an objective claim, and for Veritas that's as in the same kind of objective claim territory as, you know, Jesus rose from the dead, Jesus is the Son of God, the only way to my Father is through me, that whole set of beliefs. Now to me, that's where I fall off that particular map, I think, to be honest. I really do. I think it's as deluded as the first one. I think he's absolutely right in identifying, making a claim that subjectivity is the origin of religion. I think that's stupid. You know, just saying it's like Diet Coke, or just saying it's a personal preference, that doesn't do anything. It's pointless. But by the same token, I think making those kind of exaggerated claims for objectivity, and misusing the term objectivity, I'd have to say, is, in my opinion at least, is fallacious. You know, I mean, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but you know, objective means something very specific, and that specificity is, I would say, completely determined these days by various procedures for establishing what objective truth consists of, and none of the miracles in the Bible, and indeed the whole idea of the miracle, doesn't belong within the same lexicon as objective truth as we currently understand it. You know, miracles fall apart under the onslaught of objectivity, and necessarily so. As I say, they're just part of different paradigms, completely different paradigms of understanding and of talking. Yeah, so, and of course that's the kind of idea that just leads to nonsense like creation science and nonsense like intelligent design. You know, you're putting a religious claim up against scientific claims, and that's going to lead nowhere. You know, that's just really a dead end. Yeah, so both the objective claim that Veritas seems to want to hold is stupid, and I think, yeah, the critique he makes of Dan Brown, Pogobat's subjective view of religion, if that indeed is what he thinks, I would say is also bullshit. I mean, what I would say, and I'm kind of going back to something I've mentioned in previous videos, is I think there is a better understanding of religion. I'm not sure it's what Veritas or Pogobat would call religion. Other people might call it something else, some kind of synthesis or consilience or something. I think there's a better understanding of religion which explains it in terms of different functions, neither objective or subjective, or as somehow pulling together objective and subjective, or opening up a space where objective and subject become contested terms, or become, become prompts to think in terms of other possibilities, maybe, something like that. You know, for me at least, I certainly don't consider myself spiritual in any sense, but I do sometimes think I'm quite religious, but not in any, not the bullshit religions that are around, but just in terms of being interested and seeking a kind of language that relates personal experience to objective truth, or seeks to find consilient ways of matching my subjective experience to the subjective experience of others. And finding common ground. I think there's something, I think that's a religious quest, you know, comparing my experience to the experience that are beyond me, because I don't have the sensory tackle to engage with them. You know, those kinds of processes, you know, I kind of think of as religious. Although, as I say, most people I think will probably disagree with me. Anyhow, yes, I think, just to recap, I think Veritas's desire to claim objectivity, or find comfort in a notional objectivity for his religious beliefs, and his critique of Pogobat for what he sees as holding subjective authority for religious, or so just that narrowly subjective authority. I think both of them are deluded. I think they're on a hiding to nothing, and I think you need to think in different terms about what religion is and what it does. Look at this weird thing here, look. Yeah, isn't that great?